right, so before we get started tonight, does anybody have any questions from anything we've covered up until now, and anything about trying to get their MetaTrader 4 set up? Because tonight we're going to go through actually installing the harmonic scanner, and then I'm going to show you guys the web-based version stuff too. So we'll start off with the web-based version just in case anybody comes in kind of late, and then we'll jump into actually doing the installation. So if anybody has any questions, you can definitely speak up now or just type something in the chat. And if not, we will get started. Make sure I record this. All right, good. So I hope the recording actually comes out where it's not blocking anything, because I know last week when I went back to look at it, the actual images were kind of right in the middle for some reason. I don't know how I can change that. So hopefully it's not going to be sitting in the middle during the recording. But if it is, good thing you guys were here live to see it. So let's get started. So first thing I want to do is kind of go over the online stuff first, okay? If you guys had planned on jumping on at 8 o'clock, I'm not going to do the 8 o'clock tonight. So in case we go like 15 minutes over, I definitely have some time to make sure we kind of go over in case tonight. So we won't do the 8 o'clock for anybody that was planning on staying around. So definitely speak up tonight if you have something you want to kind of go through. All right, so let's do a quick screen share. All right, and let me make sure I got this over here so I keep it on this chat window. All right, cool. All right, so when you guys log into your iMarkets Live back office, you're going to have access to the harmonic scanner, the web-based version, and you're also going to have access to the software that you install on your computer. So we'll go through the web-based version first. So it's real simple to access it. You're just going to go to imlharmonicscanner.com, or from your back office on the left-hand side where it says trading, you're just going to click on the trading tab on the left-hand side, and then go down to harmonic scanner and then click on that, and it's going to bring you right to this page. And then once you get to this page, you just need to log in with your credentials. So whatever your iMarkets Live login username and password is, that's what you're going to use to log into here. Let me click on Remember Me. And so now we are able to log in from pretty much anywhere in the world. So if you are away from your primary trading computer, or if you're primarily using your tablet or your cell phone, you can log straight in through the web-based version for the harmonic scanner. So once you're logged into it, you're going to see the same thing you would see if you were using the install version. It's that actually this one actually shows you a lot more of the smaller time frame trades. So Stacy, I know you said you're not going to do a lot of day trading. So a lot of these patterns that initially show up won't be as relevant for you or for anybody else for that sake that's not going to do a lot of quick scalping, day trading type things. But there are the longer term trades on here as well. So if you look on the left-hand side, there are several different brokers. And again, these brokers are ones that you can open up a trading account with or use it for your demo account, either way. But if you select on the broker itself, it'll actually have a drop down, and there's a couple options that you can choose from, scanning for 15-minute patterns or scanning for the 1 hour to 4 hour in the daily patterns. So if you don't plan on doing a lot of very short-term scalping, majority of the time you're just going to hit scan for H1, H4, or D1, which is just the 1 hour, the 4 hour, or the daily time frame patterns. All right. So once you open that up, then you can just select on any of these patterns that are in here. Some of these patterns have already gone into play, so make sure you kind of go through the list. It's not like the installed version where it kind of has a listing for you. You actually have to click through here and kind of select the pair. This one, for example, the Euro NZD is kind of a setup that I'm watching right now anyway. So you can see this was actually showing on the web-based scanner, and then I'll show it to you on the installed version as well. All right. So again, there's like 5 different brokers, nothing but scan alerts here, 15-minute, 1 hour time frames, and then the 4 hour, the daily time frames as well. So depending on your preference, you can definitely use this web-based scanner. Again, especially if you're away from your primary computer, you can always log into this web-based scanner and get the alerts, trade alerts and trade setups that you're kind of looking for. How do you put the time frame boxes on the top bar? Time frame boxes on the top bar. You might have to unmute your mic and talk to me on that one, Stacy. I'm not sure what you're talking about on that one. Time frame boxes. Yep, I can hear you. Okay. Like if you click on the 15, let's see. So you want to change the time frame from what you're looking at right here. Is that what you're asking? Okay, let me pull up something here because I think it's a little bit different on the other trading view. Let me see. I don't use trading view too often, but I think I know what you're talking about now. Let me pull up a random chart here. Because if you go straight to tradingview.com, the time frame is right here, right after the currency pair. That's what you're talking about. Yeah, so you can just drop it down any time frame in there. Now let me go back over to the harmonic scanner. And let's see, format it. That's a good question. Usually I don't adjust it in here just because the alert is based off that specific time frame. Okay. Yeah, I'll play around with it too and see if I can find it. Because typically I don't change it in here just because the alert is based off of that specific time frame. And if I drill down, I'll kind of have another window open like here to kind of look at the smaller time frame to kind of see if that's the setup I want. But that is, yeah, I don't know why it's not showing right there like it normally does in the normal trading view. We'll find it. All right. And anybody else have any other questions so far? So this is kind of the web-based version of it. And again, there's multiple different ones on the side here to choose from for brokers. So some of these alerts that'll show in one broker may not show in another broker. So depending on the actual broker, they have different currency pairs that they allow you to trade. So that's why you might not see every single setup in every single broker. And that's why there's multiple brokers there, just because not every broker has every single pair that you can trade. All right, so that's the harmonic scanner, and that's the web-based version. Before I jump to the install version, I do want to show you guys the web analyzer, which just kind of went live here in the last couple of days. This is more for the smaller time frames as well. So again, anybody that's not going to plan on scalping or doing short-term time frames, you probably won't use this as much. There's so, like Stacy said, there's so much education and tools and software that this company gives you. It's really just finding what works for you, because they give you a lot to kind of choose from. In here, This one allows you to change the time frame rather easily for some reason, because it's right there where we expect it to be. But most of these alerts are for the 5 minute and 15 and 1 hour. That's the only thing this one's set up for. So if you're looking for 4-hour and daily type of trade setups, you're not going to find it in the web analyzer. This is really just for the people looking to trade those smaller time frames. You can unselect and select which time frames you want to show up. And then on the right hand side, it'll actually tell you the buy setup is there or the sell setup is there, and actually what price the alert went off for this buy or sell setup. So this is kind of the web analyzer, just kind of went live. You all that have the platinum or the platinum plus package have access to this for free until the end of the year. So again, if you want to use it, you can definitely use it before the end of the year. Then I think there's a $15 charge if you decide that you want to have it going past the end of the year. All right, so that's the web-based stuff. Now let's get into the installed version stuff. So there's multiple ones that you can install on here. The binary scanner for the Windows and the Mac is something I don't personally use. I haven't used it in quite some time. I had it installed, but I just don't trade a lot of binaries for it to be worth my time to be installed on here, because a lot of the same alerts, when I do trade binaries, I kind of just get it from the regular harmonic scanner anyway. But if you want to install that later on, definitely let me know and I'll kind of help you get that installed. We do have the MetaTrader 4 harmonic scanner for the Mac. So the Mac setup was a little bit different, but everything has a video training associated with it. So definitely watch the videos, but sometimes videos you might have get stuck or you still have that question. That's why we kind of do these type of sessions. And then we have the Windows version is what we're actually going to install tonight and go through. So if you want to follow along with me, you're more than welcome to. If not, definitely watch the replay or kind of watch the videos as well. That'll help you walk you right through it. All right. One kind of thing to keep in your back of your mind is if you have 2 demo accounts, you might want to set up 2 demo accounts on 2 different brokers. What I find sometimes is when the scanner gets updated on the weekends, sometimes it's a little slow to respond on certain brokers. So I have it installed on 2 separate brokers just in case you go to pull it up and the screen is like all white. Then you'll have it installed on another broker where you can actually watch it and look at it. All right. So when you want to go install this thing, you got to make sure you're logged into your iMarkets Live account. Select the MetaTrader 4 scanner Windows. Then we're going to scroll down to the bottom and we're going to download this XUP scanner client zip file. Okay. So it's just a normal little zip file. It's a very small file. And then once you open this thing up, you're going to have one little file inside of here, XUP scanner client.ex4. Okay. This ex4 or any ex file that you see is something called an expert advisor. And I'm going to bring that up right now so you guys can see that and bring this chart over to the middle and uncheck this thing. If you guys use this web analyzer, turn off the audio. It has this cha-ching sound every time there's a trade alert. It has a cha-ching sound. So it's nice that if you're not paying attention, you can hear it, but it gets annoying real quick. So let me close that. All right, so I'm going to take this off and reinstall it for you guys. So let's see if it'll let me do it that way. So I close this chart. I don't mind breaking my stuff just for you guys. I don't mind it. Now I'm going to just grab a chart and bring it back over to the middle. So if you don't have any charts on your screen, you're going to need a chart to show up actually on your broker screen. So you can just grab any one you want to. So grab Euro USD and bring it up on our screen. And now what we need to do is install that expert advisor. And you'll see that there's a little section in the navigator pane for expert advisors. And these are all these different scanner software tools like the harmonic scanner or any like buy sell alerts. There's all kinds of different systems that you can install for MetaTrader 4. The hallmark scanner is just one of many, and it's the one obviously we're going to be using a lot to make some good money. So in order to get that thing installed, we're going to have to open up a window, your file explorer window, where you go and navigate for files and everything like that. And let me right click on that. All right. And so you're going to navigate to wherever you have that file installed. So mine is in my downloads folder. So you want to keep in mind where you have that installed at. And then let me make sure if anybody's following me, let me know too. All right. Now I'm going to go over to the plus sign or the file, and then I'm going to go down to open data folder. Okay. So this is all inside of the actual platform. So file, open data folder, and it's going to bring up your Explorer window. What we need to do is navigate to our actual EA. And off the top of my head, I think it's MQL4. So we'll double click MQL4. Then we'll double click on experts. And then we're in the EA folder that we need to, or the EX folder that we need to put this file in. So that xup.ex4, this is where we need to copy this file into. Okay. All right. So once it's inside of there, we can go ahead and close this window, and then you can right click on expert advisors and you can select refresh. And then after you select refresh, you'll have XUP scanner client showing up here on the left hand side. If you don't see that showing up on the right hand side after you did it and you hit refresh, you can also try to close your demo account, your whole platform, close it, and then open it back up. And you should also be able to see it after you do that as well. So let me bring it back over here. All right. So now we have the actual file inside of our client. So in order to actually get it set up and working, we just need to click this thing and drag it over into the chart itself. And then you're going to get a pop-up. Then once you get that pop-up, you're going to log in with your iMarkets Live account. So everything you want to get to in iMarkets Live, just log in with that same username and password that you create. Okay. So I'm gonna log in with mine, so username. And then once you set this up one time, you don't have to worry about going back and changing it. Okay. I'm trying to do this all off the top of my head, so I hope I don't forget any steps. We're going to select OK after we put in our username and password. And now we see our scanner pop right on up. Now, one other thing that you'll want to do is go up into the tools section after it pops up, because it might not pop up initially when you do this. You're going to have to make sure it's connected to the actual server, connected back to iMarkets Live and their server, so you can get it to talk to each other. So we're going to go up to the tools, and we're going to go to options. And under expert advisors, you're going to want to make sure that this IP address is in here correctly. Okay. You're going to need to make sure this last check box is checked and this IP address is in here correctly. And I'll just type in the IP address. But again, all of this is in the video as well. So just in case something doesn't work, you're going to make sure this IP address is inside this expert advisors tab inside of the trading platform. Okay. And then once you select OK, you are all set up with the scanner. Not as hard as it might seem, but it's just a matter of downloading that little small file and then getting it installed into the actual platform. Anybody have any questions so far? And then we can see this one's, I like this one a lot better if I'm just sitting here, because this one actually displays and updates in real time. So as a new alert pops up, it'll tell you when it popped up, how long ago it actually popped up. So these AUD JPY pairs, they just popped up here recently, or the setups are actually ready. And if they popped up a while ago, you can scroll down here and see something that popped up like 68 days ago, which is showing you the actual time it takes to actually get down to that actual setup. So there's a lot of setups here actually happening now. It's AUD CAD setting up real nice. It's on the lower half with a nice resistance level. We haven't talked about support resistance yet, but if you've been going through the trainings, you definitely have seen support resistance. So this is like one of those nice setups that you would look to trade. So if you're trading on a demo account, I will look at AUD CAD on that 4-hour time frame. I'll type that in the chat for you guys. AUD CAD 4-hour is a nice buy setup, and then the Euro NZD is setting up for a nice sell setup. So this is actually setting up on 2 time frames. If you guys do have your demo accounts and kind of want some practice trades for the week, some more longer term trades, those are a couple that are setting up. Also on this installed version, which doesn't have it on the web-based version, it's also kind of like a cheat sheet on the left-hand side as well. So if the numbers are too small for you on the actual scale on the right-hand side, the price scale, it also gives you the entry, the stop loss price, and the take profit 1 and the take profit 2. And we'll do some demos on that as we continue on through the month. But you can definitely just type in those numbers into your trading platform and make this a lot simpler than having to do a whole bunch of analysis. So if I go back to the AUD CAD pair we're kind of looking at here, we can see our 2 entry zone prices here. So we could just type in the one that's at now 96931 as an entry, and then our stop loss at 9636, and then our first take profit level. You can put all this into your actual demo account and just kind of let this trade go as a good practice to see how it results, and then you kind of get a feel of what it's like to actually be in the live markets on your demo account, on your demo account, on your demo account, on your demo account. Any questions? No questions? Everybody good? Just type good in the chat for me, and then we'll kind of answer a couple of Stacy's questions that she sent me earlier today. Everybody's good. Hey, what's going on, Gary? Good to see you. All right, all good. All right, so I'm gonna pick with Stacy just because she sent me the questions. You're not good. Not good. Talk to me. Let me know what's going on. And let me. All right. I'm gonna clean up this chart real quick so it's not all dirty here in a second. So she says, do you always use the computer to trade, or do you use the MetaTrader 4 too? I use MetaTrader 4 on my computer about 90% of the time. I kind of do something a little funky. I use a lot of extra stuff. So kind of my daily routine for a trade setup is involving a couple of different things. So I'll first look at the harmonic scanner to see what trades are setting up, so I don't have to kind of just go out in the market and just look for setup. So I'll literally see, okay, is the first one setting up, Euro NZD, that's setting up. And then what I'll do is my own analysis on the Thinkorswim platform, just because I like this platform for actual charting and everything. So I'll kind of bring up this platform as well. Let me see here. Euro NZD. So Euro NZD. And I'll do my own analysis over here, and I'll kind of chart it up as well. And so a couple things that jump out of real quick on here is like this RSI, which we'll get into here next week, is oversold. And then we're also up against a nice level of resistance as well. So again, support resistance. If you haven't watched that training, definitely watch support resistance, because everything's support resistance for the most part. So I see it's up against a nice support resistance level. And then my favorite tool is the Fibonacci. So I would kind of draw Fibonacci on here as well. And I will definitely teach Fibonacci as you guys continue to learn. And I see Fibonacci is like right at a 61.8. So I actually have a nice little zone to trade between my Fibonacci level and a resistance level. So I'll kind of have a nice zone that I create there, and then I'll line it up with the actual zone that the scanner is telling me. So I have a couple different confluence reasons to get into the trade. And then I'll go ahead and trade it off my MT4 platform. The only reason I use the Thinkorswim is just because there's a lot more things you can do charting wise and kind of color coding, and it's just a bigger platform that you can do some more stuff with. But yeah, I'm always trading on my MetaTrader 4. And then sometimes if my phone is like right by me, I'll just plug the numbers into my MetaTrader 4 as well, instead of like doing it on the actual charting platform, just because I'm so used to kind of using the swipe trade. So anybody that added the swipe trade alerts to your iMicroStrategy package, when you get those alerts, you just see yourself copying and pasting. So I'm so used to copying and pasting that sometimes I'll grab my phone and just put the numbers in there, because I'm used to just copying and pasting some of the alerts that actually kind of came. Don't let me scare you. Don't let me scare you. But yeah, you can do everything from just off the MT4, and that's what I would definitely encourage you guys to start with, is just getting comfortable with this platform by itself first, and we'll do some buy and sell orders too. I know one thing Stacy did ask too earlier, and let me know if it's working for you, if you figured it out. But on the bigger time frames, it will look like the prices are not moving. But if you go down to these smaller time frames, the 1 minutes and the 5 minutes, and definitely look over to the right hand side, you should see the prices moving up and down, depending on what time it is. Like if the markets are either open or closed. When I say open or closed, it's just more so the volume is real low. So like the New York session is closed right now, but the market, you can still trade the euro and the dollar and the Canadian dollar, but the United States market is just closed right now. So that trading volume is going to be slower. So you can still see, for example, let's look at USD JPY on the 1 minute. We can still see that the market is moving, but it's just real slow because there's just not a lot of participants in it right now. So this is kind of why you want to know those other trading sessions, and what pairs are associated with those trading sessions, because you don't want to be trading a market that's just really, really slow, and just kind of sitting there and waiting. It's no fun to trade a market that's barely moving. So you can see here we're moving like 1 pip up and down. So it's not really worth your time to sit in front of the computer on these 1 minute charts when the markets are closed. When the markets are open, when the JPY and the AUD start to kick off here and the NZD start to kick off here relatively soon, you'll definitely see the market moving on the higher time frames as well. All right, cool. All right, so if everybody is good with the harmonic scanner, we will, let me make sure. All right. Like this on the sell side too. So this pattern is actually setting up on multiple ones. So I kind of tell you guys a little secret too. If you're looking at, when you're looking to trade, you want to see patterns and setups that are happening on multiple time frames. So for example, this Euro NZD pair is actually setting up as a sell on 3 different time frames. I thought it was just 2, but I just clicked and noticed it was a 3rd different time frame. So here on the Euro NZD on the daily chart, about halfway down here, I'm selected on, it's actually setting up as a sell, okay? Between 167 and 171, it's setting up as a sell. And then if I click up here at the Euro NZD on a 4-hour time frame, it's also setting up as a sell pattern. And then if I look at the Euro NZD on a 1-hour time frame, it's also setting up as a sell. So we actually have 3 different time frames that are all setting up as sell patterns. Whenever you see something like that, those trades are nice, strong trades that are ones that I'll take more confidently, meaning bigger position sizes, just because it's setting up on multiple time frames. So you have a lot of traders that are looking at these particular types of setups And when you see it on multiple time frames, they definitely are stronger trades to take. Similar thing has happened here on the Euro USD earlier on a 4-hour and a 1-hour. They were both the same setup on 2 different time frames. This CAD JPY is also setting up, looks like, or this trade looked like it already happened, didn't quite get to the entry zone there. And GBP JPY, I know, was a trade last week that set up real nicely. But this was a little bit further back on the dailies, but they were both setting up as sells. So if you ever have multiple time frames setting up in the same direction, those are trades that you definitely want to really consider taking. If they're setting up on different buy and sell, so they're looking in opposite directions, you don't want to take any of those. Just because those patterns are showing up in opposite directions, just stay away from those. They're not solid. All right. Any questions? Any questions? Any questions? Any questions? All right. Let me pull up. Let's close this one. And let me pull up. I'm trying to remember which one my other demo is on so I don't destroy any more of my demo accounts over here. All right. So I'm going to pull up my Forex.com. And this is my demo account for Forex.com. I kind of use this one to kind of play around with stuff so I don't accidentally break and fool with my other stuff. Let me see here. All right. Stacy says, are the pairs at the top the most current? Yes. So the pairs that are listed at the top are the most current. All right, let me bring that back up real quick. I'm trying to get somebody to grab these nephews that are in the background here. So yeah, I always start at the top and then I'll go down from the top, typically towards the bottom. These pairs have already well gone into some type of trade. So the very last one here was the Euro USD. So that's like too far of a trade to take. So definitely start at the top. Now the scanner, the online scanners, those are different. Those are actually, you got to kind of sort and sift through those because there is no rhyme or reason that I've been able to find out which one is more recent than the other. You just kind of got to go through those to actually see where the setup is. It might be the same thing, but I don't use I'm like you, Stacey. I'm not trading up too many short time frames on here, so I don't look at this one as often to kind of sort through them. All right. So basically you're looking at the patterns of different currencies that have previously taken place. Yeah. Oh, so I'm really looking at the ones that are setting up to take place. So if it's already happened, then I don't really want those anymore. If it's setting up to take place, those are the ones I really want. So anything that's approaching the entry zone, I want to take it. You definitely want to wait for them to get to the entry zone unless you have other reasons to kind of get into the trade. Let me see if I can find a kind of good example of that. For example, this particular trade, the Euro AUD, the actual entry zone was a little bit further up here where the green line was. But you can see it didn't quite get there to finish this pattern, but it did have a nice sell-off and actually went and hit the take profit 2 level. But this particular, let me see here. That's not going to work. Let me draw this box. This particular candlestick pattern right here with this big extended wick, and we kind of go into that. Did I give you guys a video to watch with the candlesticks? I think I gave some of you guys a video. If not, let me know. And I'll put that in YouTube real quick, or I'll put the YouTube video in the chat. But this big candle that's in the middle with the extended wick here at the very, very top is a sell indicator candlestick. So whenever you see one of those big extended wicks like that, you kind of start to look for a sell setup. So this one didn't quite get to the zone, but what I'm looking is for the ones that are approaching it. And then as they approach it, then I'm looking to sell within the zone as it goes down. But after it's already kind of taken place, I kind of leave these trades alone unless I see something else on my own. All right. Yeah, I can put that video in chat. Let me see if I can find it real quick for you. All right. Any other questions you guys have? Let's see if I can find this really quick. It's like an hour-long video too. So it's definitely not the most entertaining video, but it's definitely well worth the watch. Found this guy. Too many windows open. Okay, found it. It's kind of like a old school video. It's good content, though. It's good content. Promise you'll learn a lot out of it. Stacey says, what is the yellow zone? So the yellow zone is kind of the pattern completion zone. So it's either going to be the buy zone or the sell zone, depending on which direction it is. So it's kind of just giving you that. It's giving you the two entries. So entry 1 or entry 2, because the actual pattern, it could end in both places and that pattern still be relevant. So if this particular pattern, let me zoom in a little bit here and take this off. Okay. So if this pattern actually ended here at the first green entry, this pattern would be valid. And if the pattern ended at this entry, this pattern would be valid as well, based on the ratio. So if you haven't got to the actual like advanced part of it, it'll talk about the ratios of the form of these patterns. So it just means that it's valid at both parts, either this first entry zone or the second entry zone. Some of these patterns, there is no second entry. So the pattern completion part would only work at that first entry that it gives you, or that only entry that it actually gives you. I prefer the ones that have a zone set up, just because I can actually try to get those zones real tight, based on entries. I'd never try to trade buy and sell right at the first entry zone. If there's two setting up, I'll kind of wait for this thing to kind of work itself into the zone. And then once I see it either setting up with a reversal candlestick pattern, like you guys will be able to learn some of those in the video, or if it actually comes out of the zone, then I'll look to actually get into the trade then. A couple other things I look for are round numbers as well. We'll kind of talk about that as well as we kind of go through here. For example, we're looking at 169.22 right now. I like 169.20s as sell zones. I like 169.50s as sell zones, just because a lot of the big banks use these big round numbers when they're selling the market or buying the market, either way. Any other questions? All right. I'm gonna jump back over here and kind of play with something here. I do so many of these trainings, I forget, like even when we do our 8 o'clocks. So I know, Gary, you jumped on late. I'm not going to do an 8 o'clock tonight. So anybody else that jumped on late, no 8 o'clock tonight. But IML TV people will be on at 8. Make sure I remind myself to say it. All right. So when it comes to this charting platform, MetaTrader 4, a couple things you want to kind of do when you first start off is you don't want to adjust anything that's actually on your primary scanner window. So this window here, you really don't want to play with anything on there. You want to do all your charting and stuff on a separate chart. So always leave your first chart with the scanner. Your second chart will be marking up your charts individually on your own if you want to do that as well, which I definitely encourage you to do. One of the first things I tell everybody to do in MetaTrader 4 is to get rid of these grid lines, because these grid lines can be mistaken as support and resistance, and they're not support and resistance, even though it might look like they're holding a support and resistance. these grid lines are just associated with the price over to the right, and then the time on the bottom. So you have time scale on the bottom, your price scale on the right hand side. So in order to get rid of these grid lines, you just want to right click anywhere on this chart and then go down into properties, and then we'll select common tab here, and then we'll uncheck the show grid, and we'll get rid of those grid lines. So definitely step one is getting rid of those grid lines because you don't need those. As you kind of work your way through the platform, I think we did some of this last week, but definitely play around with it. And if you have questions, let me know. But you can also go ahead and kind of make this, you know, more user friendly for yourself by kind of changing these colors up as well. So if you right click on here and go back into properties and go back into colors, you can change what colors you want this to be. So typically we always see green is going up or red is going down. Those are just colors. You're not really concerned with that as the final, you know, bulls and bears of what the thing is. If you want to make these your favorite football team, like, you know, green and orange, I'm just saying because I'm a Dolphins fan, with, you know, a little teal and orange, you can definitely do that, or pink and purple. It doesn't matter what color you make these things. Definitely make it something that, you know, is easier for you to look at, but they definitely don't have to just be this green and white scale. So the grid is actually going to be that grid that we kind of got rid of. The foreground is this white scale around the right hand side. Your bar up is going to be your bullish bar, so up bulls. So we can change this to like an orange red color, and then your other bull candle is the inside of it. So the bar up is the outside. The bull candle is the inside part of it. So kind of just make that like a darker color red. Your bar down is your bearish bar. So we'll just make it a purple. Purple's on the outside. And then you can change the inside color, and we'll just change it to like yellow. So we got a little crazy setup going, but you can definitely change these things into whatever meets your, whatever you like to change it to. Just remember which direction is which, right? You can save these as a template. So once you have kind of what you like, you can save it as a template. We'll just say ugly colors, UGLY, ugly colors template, hit save. So now if I want to go and add Euro CAD, USD CAD, I can right click here, anywhere on my chart, go into templates, load template. I can search for it, or I can just drop down here into my little menu and select ugly templates. And now I just have my color codes back in there as I created. So you can do a lot of customization with it to kind of make it easier for you. So it's not like a too boring of a program where you can't do anything with it, but you can definitely do some things with it. And again, if you want to hide all your things, I like clean charts, so I don't like a lot of my windows showing, but your market window on your left, you can bring that up, your terminal windows, your data windows, all that stuff that we kind of looked at last week. You can definitely bring those up if you want to, or you can just hide them all together until you're ready to kind of place a trade. Has anybody got to the point where they've taken any demo trades or tried to yet? This is setting up as a nice cup and handle pattern. I think he talks about cup and handle patterns in the thing. Just let me know if anybody's taken any demos. Okay. All right. Let me adjust something real quick here. Trendline properties. Click that. All right. USD CAD is one you might want to pay attention to that might do something like this. Okay, Stacy, you tried. Okay, Gary hasn't tried. All right, cool. All right, so when we look at the actual platform here to actually take some demos, because I know between now and Thursday is going to be a little while, so I want you at least to kind of play with some demo accounts. Again, I'm not really concerned if you lose or win yet, but definitely just getting a feel for taking some trades to kind of get the get the brain moving a little bit. We haven't done any strategy stuff yet other than the harmonic scanner. So kind of just take them based on the scanner for now. But we'll get into some extra strategies you can put on top of this harmonic scanner as well. But if you want to actually take some little practice trades on here, we will bring back open our, how did I get that to do that? I want this to lock. There we go. All right. So we can do it a couple different ways. So we are on the USD CAD chart right now. If we wanted to trade right now off this USD CAD, we could come up here to new order. Okay, so new order, and we'll get a pop-up box. And you guys remember from last week that we got to make sure we change that volume size. So depending on how much we want to trade, we need to trade that, change the volume size. So 0.01 is our micros, 0.10 is our mini lot, and 1.0 is our standard lot. Okay. Instant execution, that means this trade will execute in real time right now. All right, so we would hit buy, and that would happen. If you want to do some shortcuts on your Windows computer, I don't know what it is on the Mac, but if you hit F9, and I got my num lock thing, scroll lock, something that's locked here. It's locked. But F9 is the, something's locked. I keep changing it on these different ones. F9 is the actual brings up the order window as well, but I got something on my keyboard that's locked that's not bringing it up. But F9 will bring this up real quick. So if you see a trade real quick and you don't feel like jumping up here to new order, hit F9 and it'll bring this up. Also, make sure you have the MT4 downloaded on your smartphones and mobile devices. And we kind of talked about that earlier. And the process is going to be the same for actually putting in these orders. Okay. All right. Any questions? You guys have any questions? Any questions? Any questions? Any questions? All right. So I don't really have anything else. I don't want to go into the technicals until Thursday, but I do want to make sure everybody gets that scanner installed. It's kind of the homework. So even if you haven't got through the video stuff, get the scanner installed. Or if you don't, if you're not heavy on your laptops or your computers, make sure you can log into the web-based version, and then you can at least start taking some practice trades on the web-based version of where the entries and the exits are, and start putting that into your mobile MetaTrader 4, or doing it on your demo on the computer. So you got multiple ways that you can start taking some practice trades and getting it working out. Any questions at all that I can answer that you guys have? And the stumbling blocks on any videos that I can go through or anything like that? Or if you guys are good up until this point, just type in good. That way I know you guys are good. All right, cool. All right, so Thursday, we'll get into some technical analysis. No problem, Gary, no problem. I'm here for you. Thursday, we'll get into some technical analysis on actually drawing the support resistance and drawing trend lines. I draw mine like they talk about in the video, but I like to teach it a little bit different. Support resistance and trend lines are very, very crucial to getting better entry points in the market. So just like how we have that Euro NZD setting up, we'll talk about the highs and the lows. If you get a chance to watch the actual candlestick video that I sent you guys just now in the chat, let me make sure that I grab it again in case you guys didn't copy it and slid up, because once the window closes, it goes away. So just make sure you copy it before we jump off. But they talk about the high the price high and the price low and the bodies of the candle, the opening price and the closing price. Just kind of make sure you kind of have gone through that a little bit. But again, if you don't, we'll talk about it again anyway. I definitely do this at the pace where you guys are at. And again, outside of tonight, we'll be on the Thursday at 8 o'clock. So if any of you guys that are ready to kind of do some more advanced type stuff, we definitely do it then. But we're definitely going to do some support resistance drawing on the charts using the trend lines and the support line levels. But again, start taking some of these practice trades with the scanner, with the online version of scanner, with the MetaTrader 4, web-based or mobile app, either one, and kind of get to feel what it's like to be in the markets before the markets actually start to quiet down for the end of the year. All right. Any questions? Everybody good? All right, cool. So I will send this replay out. If you guys need anything, definitely hit me up either email or Facebook, and I'll get back to you as fast as possible. And I will see you guys on Thursday.